Only the Russians will take me.
Yo, yes, we are here at the Petro in Carlisle, PA. Yes, sir. I was lucky enough to find a spot before all of the free spots was taken up. Now, majority of this parking lot is reserved, meaning that you had to go in and pay. But these Petro right here, you don't have to prepay to get in. It's not like the TA that's in Georgia where you got to go through the gate first and then you have to find a parking spot. Hopefully you can find one that you don't have to pay for. If not, you have to pay 2 times. Now, for the reserve, I think you have to pay, but if you get some fuel, maybe about 60 gallons or so, you don't have to pay the gate fee. But that's here nor there. That's where we at today. Today's video, we about to get into it. One of my subscribers reached out to me via the SAP video that I had up on the channel, and we was going back and forth in the DM about what my thoughts about the SAP program, right? So I'm about to go ahead and get into it. Why was the FMCSA's SAP program created? And what happens after you complete the FMCSA SAP program? Let's find out together, shall we?
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth.
So drivers, check this out. The whole setup was supposed to make sense, right? The FMCSA created the Drug and Alcohol Clearinghouse to take unsafe drivers off of the road, hold them accountable, and then give them a path back to the truck. Here's how it works after you mess up. You go through the process, the evaluation, the treatment, and right here, drivers, is where it gets difficult. The follow-up testing, where you either have to be employed or you have to get a consortium or a third-party administrator, all while you, driver, are spending money on the program because it's not free, while you're still unemployed with no help, while you're still burning through what's left of your savings. So when you finally, drivers, complete the program, the SAP program is supposed to sign off on you. And on paper, after they sign off, you're supposed to be cleared. You're supposed to be eligible to return back to work. But drivers, here's where everything changes. Now, once you get that clearance, drivers, you kind of find out it is much more difficult to get hired out here. See, you put in applications, you get no call back from the recruiters, mega carriers don't even want to touch you. Even though, drivers, you did everything right, at this point, it still doesn't matter. Now you got drivers out here stuck in a situation where they follow the system exactly how it was designed. And unfortunately, drivers, you still hit the wall on the other side. So now what, drivers? Now what? Now what? Where do you go from here? Because now these drivers, they feel like they got no choice but to go run for the Russians.
Russians. Should have known.
Because the Russians, they'll welcome you with open arms. They say they don't care about your background. They don't care if you was on the SAP program. We'll bring you in because you need us. You need people like me.
You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy.
So drivers, I'm just gonna say this. At first, on paper, the SAP program sounded like a fair deal. You mess up, you cleaned up, you paid a price for that cleanup. You got everything fixed, and for that fix, you deserve to get another shot at the truck. But unfortunately, drivers, for me, I'm looking at all this SAP stuff. I'm looking at it different now. Because drivers, see, I don't think they really calculated what actually happens to you after you clear the program. And that right there, drivers, that's the disconnect right there. See, the SAP system, after you cleared it, they say you're good, but the industry as a whole doesn't even move in the same direction. And guess who's stuck in the middle of all of that? Let me know in the comments, because I'm curious to know, who do you think is stuck in the middle? I'll wait until you put your answers in the comments. Now, drivers, if you said yourselves, the drivers, you would be right in that.
Manner of speaking, that be true.
Listen, you did what the FMCSA required. You spent the money, you took the hit, but you handled your business the right way. But unfortunately, drivers, when it's time for you to get back into the truck and you make all these calls to these recruiters, all you hear is crickets. Ricola. But you want to know what, drivers? You want to know something? It's not the companies that's really ghosting you. Spoiler alert, it's the insurances that really makes the hiring decisions. And right now, drivers, a lot of you guys just don't understand that. Y'all don't understand that when you put in the application, of course, the safety department is going to look at it. They're going to say, okay, we might give you a chance. We can possibly give you a chance. But they give your information over to the insurance. Now, when the insurance get it, them the ones that's going to be like, oh, well, we can insure this driver, but I don't think it's possible because of his background. But now the safety department, they can possibly say whatever they want on the situation, but really at the end of the day, if the insurance says that driver is a risk, then it's a no-go. It's just as simple as that.
Cut and dried. That is it.
So now, drivers, you got a situation where the government can say one thing, and then the insurance companies, well, they can completely say something else. Now, let me just pause right here.
Hold on.
I was in a meeting not too long ago, and our safety manager spoke on a case that was a nuclear verdict. Now, if you guys don't know what a nuclear verdict is, it's those multi-million-dollar verdicts that Florida, Georgia, and a couple of other states where the victims of trucking accidents, some of them actually won. And it was one case in particular that's involved mega carrier Warner. They was the ones was able to get their nuclear verdict overturned. But one thing that the safety director really touched on in our safety meeting, and he mentioned that if anybody that's in the SAP program, that was in the SAP program, completed the program, maybe they are able to get a second chance. Unfortunately, because of the insurance, he won't be able to give them an opportunity. It doesn't matter whether they've been out of the program for 6 years or they've been out of the program for 3 years. It's just unfortunate with the company that I drive for. SAP Drivers, I'm sorry, but it's a no-go over here. You can be the best driver out there and you really want to get back out there. Unfortunately, my company won't even touch you. Guess who loses in all of that situation that I just mentioned above, right? Again, let me know in the comments below. I'll wait. If you said the drivers, again, you would be correct.
Manner of speaking, that be true.
Now, drivers, listen, I get it. I understand it. Companies like mine and others that's out there, these companies are thinking about lawsuits. They thinking about liability. They thinking about the risk. In all honesty, one mistake can cost a mega carrier, a mom and pops carrier, a owner operator, millions. Just listen, one mistake can shut companies down. So from their side of view, okay, they playing defense, and I get it. But here's the problem with all of that. Because if a driver completes the program, does everything that is required of them, and S.A.P officially cleared them for return to duty, and they've done all of their steps, why is there still no real guarantee back to the truck? So what ended up happening? Well, I'll tell you, drivers, they would get pushed in the corner. They would get desperate. And when stuff like that happens, they start looking for whoever will take them. Drivers, that's when these black op companies come into play. You know, the Russians, yes, the Russians out of Chicagoland in the great state of Illinois.
Only the Russians will take me.
And with that right there, you got another set of risk. Different standards, different pressures. Sometimes cutting corners just to get back into the truck. All because driver couldn't get a fair second shot after doing what they officially paid for. And see right there, drivers, this right here, this channel is the reason why I talk about this stuff. See, let me tell you, the system was supposed to fix the problem, but unfortunately it created another one on the back end.